Penguin could have carried tanks of compressed fresh air inside with him, but that's not what worries me.
Are all air compressors created equal? Well, today I'm going to run you through one serious setup and I'm going to put it through its paces to see if the performance matches the price tag. I am talking about the Gaahleri GTX 778 or Apex Force if you like. But before we start, let's get the disclaimers out of the way.
Oh wait, here's a disclaimer, man.
And yes, Gaahleri has sent me this compressor free of charge for this review. Having said that, there is never any expectation or script around what I say. My thoughts are my own, and I can assure you I value my integrity and my reputation above the pocket change I may pick up from any affiliate sale I make through these videos. So let's take a look what this compressor is all about. The box is big, it's really big, and it's actually quite heavy. And after removing the packaging, I was impressed by the sleek look, but very surprised at the size of the thing. And even though its body is constructed of aluminium, it still weighs in at around 18 kilo. And it measures 490 by 330 by 270 millimeters. You also get a jar of oil, a couple of air hoses, a filter, and plus the instruction booklet. Now, I've had many air compressors over the years and they all essentially do the same thing. Some better than others, with the units that come with the air tank usually being the most desirable option. The one you see on my left was my current compressor, and I'll be using that as a comparison so you can immediately see the Apex Force, the new Gaahleri one, completely dwarfs that unit. But to compare the two on size is probably a little redundant, as the Gaahleri setup has two air tanks and the facility to run two independent air lines from it, but more on that in a minute. Now, before you start, a small air filter needs to be pressed onto the air intake. This felt a little forced, but it capped on nonetheless. As mentioned, you receive a jar of oil to ensure the unit is lubricated and runs smoothly. And that oil level is really easy to see at a glance through a clear tube at the rear of the unit. That can easily be serviced, and there is a small funnel that makes topping those levels up an easy process. The unit comes with the capacity for two air lines, like I said, so logically there are two moisture traps as well as two pressure regulators. In terms of pressure, the unit has a maximum pressure of 116 psi or 8 bar, which is complete overkill for airbrushing your scale models. However, what that does mean is you have the ability to run pneumatic tools such as drills or sanders, all from that one unit. For me, however, the two airlines means I can have two airbrushes set up and ready to go without having to swap hoses and reconnect airbrushes. Better than that though, this setup allows me to have two different pressures for each of the lines. So when applying varnishes, for example, I don't have to dial up the pressure and then take it back down when I go back to regular spraying. Just make sure you release the pressure in that tank before trying to remove that stop cap on that second line, because it can go off like a bullet. Ask me how I know. So the two lines and dedicated pressures are fantastic, but the real selling point for this compressor, as I understand it, at least, is the volume or the lack of it. Now, not that an app on an iPhone is overly accurate, but from my testing, this compressor was running at about a fraction over 40 decibels. Now, to give you context, a normal conversation between two people would be around 60 to 70 decibel, but as noted, as the lack of volume was, that lack of vibration and rattle was even more apparent when comparing this against my old compressor. Firing the old one up saw the phone hit around 60 decibels, which still isn't overly loud, but noticeably loud. But the rattle and the vibration from that unit was considerably greater, and the thing that vibrates through the floor of the family home and causes the most disruption. From empty to full pressure in the tank, my old compressor took just over a minute and 50 seconds, but the Gaahleri unit only took 1 minute 17 seconds for double the capacity. Releasing the air through an airbrush at around 20 psi saw the old compressor last about 16 seconds before kicking into gear, whereas the Apex Force got me 2 minutes 45 of spray time before having to recharge. Now, I appreciate old compressors may have limited capacity with moisture in the tank and things like that, but that is a vast difference and certainly one of note. To be fair, I've never had issues with my old compressor in terms of the way it sprayed, and of course this new unit did its job as expected in the way that it delivered airflow to the airbrush, but there was simply no comparison with the difference in volume and vibration. In the past, my airbrushing would have to stop when people in the house were going to bed, whereas now they wouldn't even know that I was doing it. This isn't a cheap unit and it won't be for everyone, but it is extremely impressive as far as air compressors go. Now, as a thank you to this Workbench Hobbies community, Gaahleri is offering viewers of this channel a 13% discount on purchases. Now, I've left the links for those discounts through either their store or Amazon stores in the notes down below, so please be sure to check them out. Now, I do receive a small commission on the sales and that helps me cover my costs here on the channel, but I can promise you that I've never had anything but positive experiences with Gaahleri, so I'm sure you will too. So will it improve your modeling? Well, in a word, no, but it will potentially give you an improved workflow with the ability to house those 2 airbrushes simultaneously, each with a different pressure ready to go, as well as a significantly improved workspace environment with reduced noise and vibration output. Now, pair that with the capacity of the 2 tanks and the extended times between refills, and you have a very attractive proposition for those of us serious about our modeling, looking for an option to level up the workspace. Thank you to Gaahleri again for the review sample. It's greatly appreciated and it is going to be used just about every day. And I'll leave you with this. Remember, guys, this is the greatest hobby in the world. Share it with your family and share it with your friends, and let's be proud of what we do. Until next time, I will see you soon.
This is compressed air.